Our daughter Lily was recently down this past weekend, and she helped me put in access to a stand location I call Danger Zone. And I thought maybe I should do a little video instead of just showing that access. We actually built a little bridge across a waterway so I could get direct access to one of my tree stands. But instead of just showing that, I thought I'd explain to me what good access to a tree stand means. And for me, access to a good stand location, whether that's a tree stand or a ground blind or a box blind, is keeping everything in front of you. All your deer movement, your deer bedding, food sources, water holes, scrapes, everything should be in front of you. Should never have to pass a food source or pass a bedding area or parallel a bedding area to have perfect access. That should all stay in front of you. And then once you reach your stand location, that should be placed on the edges or the fringe of where that movement pattern would be. Maybe that's a fence jump, ditch crossing, some kind of funnel, maybe it's a brushy fence row, but that's, you're hunting on the edge and that's in front of you. Maybe your mock scrape is in front of you. So that's what good access is keeping everything in front of you, and at the end of your hunt, whether it's a morning or an evening hunt, you get down and you walk out the same way. The wind is in your face, the deer movement's in your face, the bedding cover's in your face, and you can get out and access through, let's say, like a cow pasture or a waterway or something where deer aren't going to be, and then you exit that same way. The reason why you want good access is, first, it lowers the hunting pressure on your land. If you're coming in and you're paralleling this cover and you're letting your scent blow into this cover, or you're crossing multiple deer trails, or you're crossing multiple food sources and you're bumping deer, you're going to burn your farm out a lot faster than if you keep everything in front of you. The second reason is, if you don't have good access and you're bumping deer on the way in, you're actually ruining that hunt. You're burning out that hunt, or your hunt might actually be ending before you even get to your stand if you have alerted all the local deer that you're accessing that tree stand. So it just makes for good hunting. It makes for good woodsmanship skills to keep everything in front of you, walk up to that deer movement pattern, and then stop and hunt with the wind in your face. So this example I want to give you, I'm going to go out in the field now and show you the extremes that I take to make sure I have good access directly into a stand with the wind in my face. And Lily and I are going to put in a crossing over a ditch. And this ditch might not look like much, but it's about 20 feet wide and it's deep enough that you would have to wear like chest waders or take a boat across this 20 feet. The only other access to this stand location would be to walk way to the south and cross a beaver dam, a beaver pond, or go way to the northwest and do the same. But then you're coming in from the sides, you're paralleling this waterway, and you're bumping deer. Anytime there's deer bedded along this waterway, you're bumping them. By going straight in, crossing this water, and then going up into my stand, that gives me direct access, wind in my face, and it makes for a good hunt and the lowest possible hunting pressure. So let's go into the field and take a look at that. And then I also have a Google Earth video that kind of explains it from an aerial view on what I mean by creating good access straight into a tree stand. So today, it's end of May? Well, actually, it's Memorial Weekend. And I hung this stand with Forrest. It's back here, you'll never be able to see it. There's too much green right now. But I hung this stand for Forrest. We call this Danger Zone. It's a little 15-acre woodlot here, just really thick. And the bucks really kind of pile in here, and the does kind of pile in here toward the middle of November-ish. I think it's when all the surrounding areas have had quite a bit of hunting pressure. So I had high hopes for this spot, and last year I came in after we had some rain, and there's a creek here, and I couldn't cross it. I got about halfway across, and I backed out. I went all the way around and crossed the beaver dam, and then came back up on the other side, and the whole time I'm bumping deer. So my access is perfect. Right here, the stand's 70 yards here, but I have to be able to cross. So I had this idea of dropping a telephone pole across here and maybe putting some boards across so I can get good access to this tree stand, but I couldn't do it by myself. So I got Lily out here helping me today. So the goal right now is to slide this telephone pole across this creek, and then I might have to get wet to pull it up on the other side, and I got some planks I'm going to screw to the top of it. Hopefully that'll kind of give me a crossing here. Let's see if we can do this, Lily.
All I know is Mom probably will not be able to. Sorry, Mom. I forgot. As long as you don't have this B-roll in your video. Mom, you have great hand-eye coordination. But I don't know if you could do this.
So you think you can hold it up?
The board?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I gotta get wet, I don't care.
See, I just want to go like this, and then we'll get a screw. So I'm going to go like this, and then we'll figure out. I'm going to put the first screw in here. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can do that now. And then if we can just get one more in to hold it up.
I could just not slip.
So, just to wrap things up, I want to make sure the audio is on. I've done that before.
Actually?
Oh yeah. And have to go back and redo the whole thing again. Just to wrap things up here, one telephone pole I got for free, and then these are all scrap pieces of wood. And I know it's kind of ugly, but that's the point. When I do stuff, I purposely try and do it for no money, scrap wood, scrap fence posts and stuff, just because I'm like anti-spending money on hunting purposes. And it's not like I don't have the money, it's just that I'm anti, like, what do you want to say? Commercialized. I just don't want to be commercialized. I want to do it like this. So the rope actually adds a lot. You can, I'm actually going to go again, but yeah, that rope really helps. I mean, that's pretty easy. So I think without that rope, I would not like this. So that's a pretty good deal. So now I'm gonna grab my staff, and Lily and I are gonna go in and cut some shooting lanes. Because when I walked around last year, it was pretty bad.
Awesome.
So let's just pack this stuff out, get a drink of water, and cut some shooting lanes. So I wanted to give an example of poor access to a stand location compared to good access to a stand location. And when I talk access to a stand location or a box blind, ground blind, I always want to keep deer movement, deer bedding, anything like that in front of me, upwind of my location. So I want to come directly in. I don't want to parallel bedding thickets or deer movement, for example. So in this example, you see this kind of a triangle is this 10 to 15 acre bedding thicket, and the pink lines represent typical deer movement in and out of that bedding thicket. So last November, my access to this stand, I'm going to draw this in, was supposed to be from this cow pasture, crossing this cattle fence, crossing that creek, but I couldn't get across the creek because it was too deep and my crossing just wouldn't work. So I had to back out, parallel the bedding thicket in this cattle pasture, cross the fence here, cross this beaver dam. There was a beaver dam on the bottom side of this creek, and now I'm paralleling this bedding thicket, and I was bumping deer the whole way. So my hunt was over before it even started. That's an example of poor access because I'm paralleling a bedding thicket and deer movement. Perfect access is coming from this cow pasture, crossing the cattle fence, crossing that creek, and I'm up in my stand and I'm hunting with a southwest wind or a south wind. In this case, that's only possible, and I'm going to draw this in real quick, by creating this crossing, and I'll put this in blue here, by dropping a telephone pole and creating this crossing over this creek. So now I come in from this cow pasture, cross the cattle fence, use my telephone pole, and I'm up in the stand, and I have deer in front of me for my hunt. At the end of the hunt, I get down and I leave the same way I came in, and deer are always in front of me and upwind. Very rarely in this stand location would you see deer out in that cow pasture on the other side of that cattle fence or the other side of that creek. It's possible, but very rare. So that would be an example of good access compared to poor access.